With the One Piece card game experiencing a new wave of players, collectors, and of course scalpers, it's getting even harder to find a place to start. With the majority of new content being the next pump and dump or box openings, who's there for the people who want to play with their shiny cardboard? More importantly, is it even possible to get into the game if you don't have a collection built up? Let's find out. In this series I'll be taking 2 starter decks and seeing how I can fare only using cards I obtain from sealed product. Using a budget of £15 a week, I will improve my deck with the goal of taking it to a regional event. This is my One Piece sealed journey. Welcome back guys to the One Piece sealed journey. Obviously last time we cracked our starter decks and got this beautiful alt art Monkey D. Luffy leader. And of course we show you the deck profile which we take into our first locals coming up in this episode. So let's see you there at the locals. Just on the way to our first locals with the sealed deck. Should be a good experience. Hopefully we can get at least 2 wins. I'd feel pretty confident we've got 2 wins. Hopefully they've got OP13 or 14 or some sort of pack I want. I know the scab situation is pretty bad at the moment, so we'll see. But yeah guys, we'll join you when we're in the Bandai store, Birmingham. So guys, we went to Bandai. They didn't have 13, unfortunately. They had 14, but I decided to chance it on an 11 because OP11 isn't there that often. Try high roll maybe a Zeus, so we get Long Jaw Neptunian or Long Nose Neptunian, I believe, or one of them two, which is the only yellow card in the pack, as you'll see shortly. So a little disappointing, but let's move on to the games and see if we can pick up some wins at locals. So guys, round 1 gets paired and we're up against the new OP14 Red Law Leader. And after die roll, I'm going second. Now I won't be showing every game from locals in this video, but I wanted to show you a bit of an extended cut of this first one. If you want to see the full games, they'll be on the Patreon linked in the description below. So if you're after the full locals experience, you can find it there. But our locals not off to the best start, as you'll see shortly, and you might be able to see, figure out what's going on here as you slowly see the camera changing angles, and bang, our camera just falls over. So not the ideal start to the sealed journey. And in hastily setting it back up, I failed to capture my opponent's leader. So that was a bit unfortunate. It will be fixed for the future games, and the other games in this episode will be a bit better. But yeah, a very unfortunate camera angle here, and as we cut to the end of the game, you can see it is not looking good for myself. 1 card in hand, my opponent with 3 active swings, and as they swing 8k I block, and then the game is just over here as I counter out again, but this is not enough, and we start off locals 0-1. In between the locals, we got passed out these McDonald's promo packs, which I was very excited to see, mainly because of the card you're going to see right here, the Monkey D. Luffy. It is a 5-cost 6k that can lip a life face up at the end of your turn to restand an egghead character. And I know some of them other cards quite desirable. And for our locals promo pack, we get the Hiyori. Not great for us, but it's not too bad. It's a card at the end of the day. Maybe we get a place so we can trade it for something. So round 2, we're faced against Koala, one of our good friends. We played him twice for locals and beat him both times, but unfortunately could not pick up the win against them in round 2. So we're fighting not to get the donut, guys. We're going to round 3. So we're playing our good friend here, UK One Piece TCG, on his signature Blackbeard. And after the die roll, I'll be going second. So this will be the feature match for today. Looking to not go 0 and 3 with our 2 starter decks put together. Blackbeard, a little bit of an interesting matchup. Obviously, 10 cost Blackbeard, really good because it blocks a Zoro swing, blocks a leader swing, but we do have unblockable. So if we can get our friend here down to 0 life, we've got the chance to go 15k at lead. We do have a few on plays, so sort of tax with the leader effect. They have to sort of discard, they don't want to search with Sanji. And obviously, if they don't know we're on sealed only, they're scared of stuff like Bonnie, Nico Robin, Kid, and that will force them to discard for more. And let's get started here with putting out their life. The deck performed okay on the day, betrayed us in a couple of the games, didn't find Zorros and the like. As the Blackbeard player here chooses to play Caribou turn 1, solid play. Goes over to me, 2 Don play, I don't have one, so we just have to pass. That's the unfortunate thing about 2 starter decks together. You don't have a lot of early plays. Really sort of has you chasing the game against some decks in the format. Blackbeard probably not too much, but you wouldn't mind having extra attackers down, even if you just play, a 2-cost Hiyori, stack a life, or a searcher like a Lilith. That would be perfect, because sometimes you got to kill the feat. As we go 5 at lead here. And the Blackbeard player thinks for a bit and gives us a 1k. And we play our Nico Robin blocker. Didn't really have much else in the hand, obviously. Even if we had a Sanji, wouldn't get the effect because we were under Blackbeard leader effect. And we're sort of thinking here, I'm thinking, how do I win this game? I need to sort of pressure enough early, but also establish a board so late game I don't just lose to 10-cost Blackbeards. Or even like 7-cost Blackbeard just sort of removes my board because I did not put the Nami in the deck, which probably would have helped in this matchup. It's one thing that, stops KO, but I was prepared more for stun decks or bottom decks like Boa or Mihawk or Croc. And I really wasn't thinking I was going to face Blackbeard. As we as the Blackbeard player Kuzan, for Shiryu. On KO, KO is a 4-cost. And he's deciding whether he wants to swing here. Decides he will swing on the 5 Don turn. Obviously, he didn't swing on his 3 Don turn. And I'm just going to take its free value. I get the Raw Heat Strike, draws me a card. Not bad, just need basically in there to cycle. Good to cycle off Zoro, decent in life, and obviously late game it's pretty good. Look at the hand, I've got a lot of 2Ks, which is okay, but probably not great in this matchup because you're just going to die eventually to big 12k swings in the late game. So we deal our first damage here. We play out the Rob Lucci, just 5 for 6 when you play him out. Obviously the trigger's nice, but we have no way really to put him in life or change him in life. But you want to play 4 because you want to sack it in life. It's sort of, you're playing for luck when you've got 2 star decks. You're not really playing the game that you'd normally play where you're like, oh, I want like the strong cards. You're just like, well, I'll need to high roll to win some games because it's pretty difficult out here to try and win when your opponents have cards they've bought and obviously you only have cards that you've pulled. So you're at the mercy of the packs. As he goes for Lafitte search here, which obviously I'm scared he might grab 10-cost Blackbeard, 7-cost Blackbeard. I mean, even Valgrind Augur's a problem for the deck because our high swing's 6-cost, which basically means he can just sort of control us out of the game. Blackbeard obviously difficult for these rogue decks, even though ST29 is pretty good. 2-star decks is like rogue as it gets, as he does take the 7th-cost Teach here. Obviously the annoying thing about this is it adds back any black card, so even if you kill it, they just add it right back, play 7 and go again. As he sets up Van Alga here, and I know next turn it's going to be a bit difficult for me, as he trashes the 6-cost Kuzan. So I'm sort of looking for my options here, and I decide to swing Nico Robin at Lafitte because I know its days are probably numbered, especially with the Shiryu on the board. As my opponent just checking how many Don they're on. So I'm just trying to get a bit of value out of this Nico Robin before it will die. And it does kill the Lafitte, so it's done its job. Get to start pressuring lead now, 7 with Rob Lucci. Of course, my opponent on 4 life. A bit hard to see, but he is on 4 life. He decides just going to block this one on Caribou. I don't hate the decision. I mean, get it used early. I just follow it with S7 at lead. And he takes this one no trigger. And we just drop another Rob Lucci. I mean, 5 for 6 is not bad. Obviously, 4 for 6 is the baseline vanilla stats. But 5 for 6 still decent. It's only 1 done for 7. And 7 the best number to swing into 5k leaders, obviously, because it requires 2 cards from hand. So now we're staring down, and I think Nico Robin's not really going to stick around too much longer. As we do get a 5 into Nico Robin, I do believe. Oh no, this one was 5 into leader. My apologies. So opponent just working out what sort of numbers he wants to put down. He pays 7 for Teach and kills my active Rob Lucci. And then trashes for leader effect and leaves 2 Don open. So the Robin survives another turn, but obviously the Shiryu can kill it basically whenever I swing, which is pretty annoying for me. And he has this control engine here of Van Alga and Teach. I'm sort of sitting here going, maybe I'll just go aggro, because I know I do not have a lot of opportunities to get through here. The Shiryu blocker is going to be annoying for me. I mean, the Teach Auger is just going to kill anything I play, so I have to really play 2 bodies a turn if I want to stick anything. But I know I've got unblockable late game, and I know if I can get my opponent down to 0, I have a chance. So after a bit of deliberating here, my opponent just thinking here if he wants to counter out, he doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, if he wants to take the damage, or maybe block Shiryu and just come on Nico Robin. And I'm sort of thinking, what sort of counter events do they play? Probably Black Vortex, but they could be on Ground Death now. There's a few options they could play. It was sort of messing with my head because I was like, well, obviously Ground Death's +4, that's crazy. But he just decided to take the damage. No trigger here. That's 3 cards in my opponent's hand. And I'm sort of thinking now, do I just put some Don under Robin maybe? But I'll go with Leader. And I'll swing 9k with Luffy. And obviously this is a sort of interesting number because even Black Vortex, they have to give an extra card. Ground Death, they have to give an extra card. But they just block Shiryu and kill the Robin, which is fine. I pay 4 for Chopper. And then pass to my opponent because I know if he kills the Chopper, I get to stack a life, which means I can effectively turn my Chopper into a trigger body. At least that's the plan anyway, but look at my hand, I think he's only got like Jinbeis, which is obviously, it's a trigger body, but it's not the best one. Or maybe a Sanji, that would be decent. Get a search if my opponent doesn't leader effect before they swing. Obviously Blackbeard's on the 10 Don turn here, and that's the dangerous point, right? Like, once they get to this point with like adequate amount of life, I think he's on 2 life now, it's like, really am struggling to get through. And he does of course drop the 10-drop Teach, and he's just thinking here on what to negate, so he negates Chopper and Leader, and he's going to do the Alga Teach to kill Lucci. And now I'm sort of going to die a slow and painful death while my opponent sits behind this big wall of blockers. And I think he's deciding if he wants to leader effect or if he wants to swing. And I think the thing is, Blackbeard can play it slow. But he will go 5 at lead just to see what's going on. I don't think he's really scared of me having anything great out of life. And I just get another Raw Heat Strike and draw a card. And now I'm sort of sitting here going, can't swing the Chopper. I have 10 Dom, but obviously the highest cost thing in my deck's 6. I need to really swing 12 if I want to take out anything, or like at least a card from hand. So I'm sort of thinking, do I go like 5 at lead, see if he blocks, play Zoro, put 4 down under, or 5 down under with his leader effect, or with the Zoro effect. That's what I decide to try and do. So obviously Zoro's best card in our deck, we're going to sort of pressure here. Obviously the downside of doing this is he has Teach Auger on board, he can just clear this Zoro. But it doesn't mean my Chopper's going to live. So I go 13 at the Teach, and he just gives me a 2k. But unfortunately he had the 2k in hand, only 3 cards in hand, but obviously Blackbeard's going to keep it in hand if he has it, right? And so I'm sort of sitting here going, you just get Auger Teached. And I think I should have definitely killed the Auger. Looking back, like definite misplay, just sort of sitting there, letting him have the -3. At least if I kill the Auger, he gets a card, but I don't have it. Like, it's not guaranteed the Teach will kill anything. And Lafitte's search here, just getting so much value. And of course, I can't kill the Teach, he just adds it back, and he adds the nice PRV2 Alt Art Shiryu there. And that's sort of putting us under a lot of pressure because I believe 90% of our deck is 4 cost or below. And obviously the Shiryu is a blocker, so it's going to negate 1 attack, kill another thing. It's going to make it really difficult for us to push for game. Even though we have unblockable, I don't think I'm going to have enough time to go unblockable 3 times at my opponent. So I have a 5 at lead here, and I'm sort of thinking I might have to start countering here. Because if I don't, I'm just going to die. But if I take, I might get a trigger body. So it's sort of that 50-50 moment. I decide to take, no trigger body. And my opponent sets up here with the Shiryu blocker and a couple of Don. And doesn't swing the Teach blocker, obviously, because he does not want to risk dying to some sort of rush character or anything like that. He's got 1 card in hand here. Looks like some sort of event from the camera. Obviously, I don't know that playing. And I sort of psych with the Luffy here, just trying to get some sort of option. Like maybe a Sanji, but obviously he's leader effective, so that's no good. There's really nothing I've got bar Zoro to cycle. Obviously playing out Zoro, I'm going to get Auger Teached. And he's going to block Shiryu here. And going to kill my chopper. That was a misplay. I definitely should have swung the chopper first, but I wanted the cycle. And this is where I build my own wall of blockers, but obviously mine are 2Ks and not 12s. And I have to even play out the 2K Frankie here just because my hand is that clunky with 2Ks. It's great against some of these, you know, ball control, like attack decks, you know, something like a carrot or something. I mean, carrot stuns, but, you know, if they swing into your board, it's good. Unfortunately, not great when you're staring down this sort of KO removal in Blackbeard, because you cannot use your 2Ks to protect your things if they're cost minused. The feat search here. A couple of options there. Obviously the stage is there, but I don't think you need the stage. You've got Lafitte, right? And it's kind of hard for me to kill Lafitte, because if I swing at Lafitte, he can just block Blackbeard. And he sort of gets to keep getting this value engine going. At this point, I know I've lost. I'm like, it's rough for me, but I'm going to try and go out. Maybe my opponent misplays. Maybe time gets called. You know, you have to look for the small percentage wins here. And he just grabs another 10 cost Blackbeard here. And this is where I'm like, well, if he gets that down, I'm cooked, right? I'm more cooked than I already am. You know, I'm fried. Absolute barbecued. And so he does the Augur Teach to kill Frankie. I'm sitting here with 2 blockers, so I know I'm not dying. But it's not looking good for me as he goes 5 at lead. And I'm like, I just need to try and sack something. And I get a Jinbei, and it gives me a bit of hope. Because it's an attacker, right? I need to get a wide board. I need to sort of pressure, because low hand size means I can get around the Teach. But it's very hard to get over the Teach, right? I can go like 7-7-7 or like 5-5-5 to sort of force the Teach to get out of the way. As I go 7 and he blocks. And now he's got no blockers. I can sort of pressure. The issue is there's a 12 can on the board, an 8 can on the board, a 6 can on the board, and leader swing. I've got 1 life. Even with all these 2Ks in hand, right? You know, 12K is going to eat up a lot of 2Ks. And he still has Don open, and he's going to use that Don here to play the Black Vortex or the Black Spiral events. Plus 4K negate the effects. Pretty strong event. Obviously, there's a lot of interesting cards it can negate. I'm just going to swing Brook until Lafitte, get that off the board. I'm going to play 6 more Zoro. Discard the Raw Heat Strike because I have no Don active. Put it on under and swing 9 at the Augur. Finally going to get it off the board. About 4 turns too late. But we got it in the end. But of course our opponent has another 10 cost Teach in hand. Very rough for us. Going to be very difficult to get back into this one. Because even though we, you know, have a bit of a board, the Teach can kill a thing, 10 cost Teach can kill a thing, leader swing into the Brook. All of a sudden, you know, we lose 3 things or 2 things. It's looking pretty rough. Or we lose all our cards in hand. And at that point, it's just even rougher, right? Because we'll have things stunned and all this. And of course, it's got to be 10 cost Teach. Going to negate the Zoro. And of course, our leader effect for the turn. 5 into the Brook. Obviously, no point trying to keep it alive. I debate here throwing away a lot of cards or blocking for the Jinbei, and I do. But of course, it's 2 swings into 2 life. So it looks like the camera is shoveled even further up. It's hard to see, but it is 2 life. It passes back over to me, and obviously there's no innate rush in the deck. And so I'm staring down 1 blocker, 2 life, and there's no way for me to get around this. You know, maybe if we had 9 cost Jewelry Bonnie, we could pressure a bit more. You know, swing 5 might block, swing 6 might get through, and then Bonnie might be able to guess the game. But unfortunately, he has the 2K in hand anyway, so I don't think Jewelry Bonnie would have got us there, but obviously may as well cycle here. And then drop a few cards down. Drop the Zoro. See what we can do. I don't even think I had any good triggers to cycle here looking at my hand. It's only like 2K Jinbei. And I'm just going to go 12 at a Teach with the Zoro to get it off the board. But obviously, I'm staring down the same situation I was last board. But I've just dropped a Zoro on the board and lost my blocker. So the writing's on the wall at this point. We're just sort of trying to enjoy our time with the deck. Trying to get some nice clips for you all. And obviously, the deck performed okay, considering it's 2-star decks, you know, currently 0-2 and looking to be 0-3. As we get 10 at lead, I believe, here. I decided to take it just to see if I can sack maybe a blocker. I sacked the Sanji, so we get a search, and I was like, maybe we'll get a 2K or something, but I only get a 1. But I know, obviously, I'm going to take a big Blackbeard swing here, and even with all these cards in hand, I just can't get out. So moving on to the pools, guys. I was debating what to take, of course, but I think it has to be OP13. I think if we had Jewelry Bonnie to close out the games, or Lilith Searcher, or even Stussy for a bit of board presence, that would have been the ones to help us. So, of course, OP13, a bit difficult to get at the moment. I know boxes resell for about 400 on eBay, and as you can see by the mark on the back, my good friend Oscar hooked me up with these ones out of his illustration box. I sorted him out with some PRB2, so he could have some for the series. So, cracking the first pack, we're just praying here for yellow cards. And the first card is yellow. It's Connie. I mean, it's not bad. Opponent's turn, when a trigger activates, it gains blocker. So it's something, and it has trigger. You can cycle it off. Sorry, obviously, Whoop Slap, the Pokemon crossover card there. A load of a chaff. I mean, maybe we pull a full Emu Core and we get Momonosuke here. It lets you look at your life and rearrange it. Probably going to play it. It's something we can play on Free Don, which you don't really have, bar Brook and Luffy. But yeah, maybe we pull a full Emu Core and we can trade that for like 5 packs or something. That'd be great. Boa Hancock, not going to help us, but here it is. Lilith, rare. Basically, a manga to us. Probably the most valuable card we're going to pull. Searches any trigger. Top 4 for any card with trigger. Amazing card. Egghead type as well. Has trigger, so you can cycle it off Sorrow. Trigger is main effect activate, so it's top 4 search. Brilliant. Gives us a turn 1 play. Probably the best card we could have pulled. Obviously, Bonnie's nice, but we just need consistency at this point. Only issue is it doesn't add the 6 cost Zorro, which we'd really like. But when we get better cards with trigger, it will add them. It's brilliant. So get into our second pack of OP13 here. Struggling a little bit. Koala no good. Vegapunk, playable card here. If you have 2 attached on it, gains blocker. It's a 1 cost. Something we could consider. Might be better than some of the chaff we're playing. Beppo's so surprised at his own effect there. Little Oz Jr., Miozgar, so we're getting that Emu Core together. Nekomamushi again. Edison, I mean, it's a 2k, it's Egghead, it's searchable, it's got trigger. Probably won't be at less life than the opponent, but not bad. S-Snake, big pull, helps us eat some boards up, giving minus 2k. Going to be great against stuff like Mihawk when we have to face that. Being able to play it down, give minus 2, and swing the rest of our stuff into it. And another Boa Hancock, weirdly enough. Shame the cards are not good. But I'd like to thank you all for watching, guys. Hopefully we find you back here for episode 3 when we put these upgrades in the deck.